Hi everyone, it's Master Ben and welcome back to another video. And this time I'm going to help you gear up for 323. Now, over the next few weeks and months, there should be a mini series on a few of the big changes to 323 to really help you with getting going in the verse on day one, and also the equipment you should be using, especially when it comes to PvP on the ground and in the air. But before the patch even drops, one of the most important things to me is understanding what are the new keybinds so you can hit the ground running on day one. Now, when moving from 321 to 22, we saw a few changes to things like where the scanning modes were, and while these were a minor inconvenience for some, I personally bound them back to their original keys. I thought it was far more logical than putting it on the V key. However, with the introduction of master modes and increased importance on sub-targeting during PvP, it's now really important that everyone understands what the default keys are, what the new keys are, and therefore you can make your own decision on if you want to rebind keys to whatever you are comfortable with. So with that being said, I just wanted to highlight that all of this data was compiled from Citizen Esper in the Frontier Consolidated community. He does also stream Star Citizen, so I have linked his Twitch channel down below in the comments. So if you want to go over there and say thank you to him, that would be greatly appreciated. So for the format of this video, I will just put chapters down below for when we're on foot, in flight, and any other important areas as we go through. This will mainly be focused at people playing with a mouse and keyboard. However, as long as you now know these keys are around, you can go and change them for your HOTAS or whatever setup you have. With all that being said, let's get underway. To begin with, we'll have a look at the on-foot controls, and to be honest, most of these have stayed the same. Your primary weapons are still on your 1 and 2 key. Your sidearm is on your 3 key. Your consumables, such as your med pens, tiger claws, or anything in your med pen slots, is on your 4 key. Your multi-tool or med gun are on your 5 key. Melee is 6. Your grenades are still on G. You can prone by pressing left control, and crouch is C. So as you can see, there's pretty much no changes here across the board. However, when it comes to things like the new loot menu, when you're running up to someone and look at them, if you press F, you'll be able to activate this menu to quickly take gear from them. Moving into flight, this is where there are a lot of new key changes, or more important key changes. That's really important that everyone understands. As mentioned earlier, 323 brings in the first iteration of master modes, or the first full iteration into the PU of master modes. So to change between the different versions of master mode, you need a long press on B. So a long press has a lot of benefits. For example, if you accidentally button mash B while you're in the middle of a fight, you're not going to accidentally start the operation to change mode. While I believe this can now be cancelled midway through a change, it still would give you a huge disadvantage in a fight, so it's really good this is a long press. However, you may wish to change the key to something on your far right of the keyboard, for example O, P or L, and then you put it on a short press if you want to get in and out of an engagement quicker. So while you're in your nav mode of the master modes, Quantum Drive has now been moved to mouse 1. This is because you won't technically have any guns to use while you're in nav mode, so they've decided to put Quantum Drive on mouse 1. I personally will be unbinding this and be putting it back on the keyboard because it's far too easy, especially if you're tabbing in and out of the game, to accidentally press mouse 1, engage your Quantum Drive. It's definitely not good, especially if you're trying to be stealthy and you don't want to boost up your signature. So another important key to note is mouse 3, also known as your middle mouse key or your scroll wheel key. So this will activate operator mode, which can include your guns, missiles, scanning, mining, all of that good stuff. You can also set all of your operator modes to specific keybinds on your keyboard, so if you'd rather spread them all out and not have to cycle through every operator mode to find the one you want, then that's definitely something you could consider. Alongside this, the radar ping, which moved to V in 322, has now gone back to tab finally. This of course means there'll be some changes in Arena Commander, but I'll come on to those shortly. When you're arriving into port, there are now 2 ways to request landing. Left Alt N still remains to be the Call ATC button. However, if you're on a ship such as the Hull C, you can now request cargo loading, which is Right Alt and N. So one of the things that a lot of people will notice is gravity compensation and automatic precision mode. This is effectively to help you land at slower speeds when you're coming into an atmosphere. This is on by default and doesn't have a keybind. However, if you would like to set a keybind, you absolutely can. It is in the flight movement section. If you wish to perform much faster landings where you get your gear out quite early, then you must absolutely toggle a keybind for this so you can turn it off and turn it on when you need. When you're in a large ship, this can be incredibly useful. However, I would definitely remember to set a keybind for this just so you can turn this off. Okay, so let's move on to targeting, and this has had some absolutely massive changes in 3.23, so you definitely need to understand how to activate these certain areas, because especially with the introduction of master modes and much closer fighting, targeting subcomponents is going to be absolutely crucial. To begin with, I want to highlight one of the most annoying changes that happened in 3.22 on the Master Mode's Arena Commander testing, and this was enabling and disabling auto-targeting. So auto-targeting would effectively take the closest possible hostile in your view. So what this meant was, if you were trying to fight a specific ship and lost line of sight of them for a brief moment, for example, if you're in a turn, the game would automatically untarget this player, which is absolutely pointless. I'm happy to now say you can disable and enable this by long pressing T. To be honest, I'd be quite tempted to totally unbind this or move it far away from T, just so I never ever enable this feature, because I find it incredibly annoying. A short press on T has remained the same, which will target the closest possible target in your view, and you can tap this as much as you like to find a different target. This is exactly the same as it is in game right now. As ever, pressing 4 will target the closest possible attacker, pressing 5 will target the closest possible hostile, 6 will target the closest friendly, and 7 will target the closest ship in general. But with all of those keys, if you continually press them, they will cycle through all the possibilities within the area. Now, where this gets more important is sub-targeting and precision targeting. If you press R, this will target and cycle subsystems. To reset from this mode, press left alt and R, and this will go back to main targeting instead of subsystems. And if you press left alt and your right mouse or mouse 2, this will activate precision targeting. And this lets you target specific parts of a ship, for example, turrets, power plants, anything like this. If you're fighting a hammerhead and you can see only certain turrets are being used, this is such a great way to shut down those systems without having to kill the whole ship in one go. This would also mean in the days when the Legionnaire comes out and you want to board a ship that you shut down, you can shoot out all the guns without knocking out a ship, and therefore ensuring you're not going to get shot down as you come in. Super useful changes. So finally, I just wanted to very quickly touch on Arena Commander. There hasn't been tons of changes here, however, I thought it would just be important just to highlight the few that there are. So in 3.22, to access the scoreboard, you press tab like many MMOs or shooters. However, this is now changed to the F1 key, which would be your Mobi-Glass normally. Respawn has remained the same on X, and if you want to force death, you hold backspace just the same as the PU. Nothing has changed there. And there we have it, folks. These are the main keybind changes that are coming in 3.23. For some of you, this video would have been totally pointless and you would have already known these things. However, you'd be surprised how many people get to the end of the patch and still didn't know some keybinds exist. So for those people, I really hope this video helps. Once again, I'd just like to thank Citizen Esper for putting together this list of information and sharing it in the Frontier Consolidated server. Links to that server on Discord and Esfer's Twitch channel and my own Twitch channel will all be in the description. Feel free to come by and say hello to Discord or either of our Twitch channels. I know I stream pretty much every night these days, and Esper seems to be streaming pretty often. You know, come along, say hello, say thank you to him, would be greatly appreciated. And with that, I'm sure I will see you all in the future.